Ah, yes. This is Agnes, the aloe plant. You know, I got her because I needed a plant. I have another plant which is an amaryllis, and I wanted to say it like the little boy from Music Man. I don't know why, but yes, that is at my ex's place, and I need to get that. But it's doing beautifully. But this is my aloe plant. Anyway, Aries, this is going to be your April 2020. Oh my gosh. Reading. There's some things on my card, or there's some things on this crystal. But the Nine of Pentacles, Venus and Virgo. Venus is talking about beauty, it's talking about pleasure, but it's also talking about ideals and things being ideal, right? Um, the nines are related to the hermit, okay? So we're talking about going inward and we're talking about a point of discovery that's being achieved, okay? Because the nines are talking about achievement as well. A point of discovery being achieved, but it's a personal discovery, self discovery, okay? Because it's always self discovery with the nines. But this is self discovery that is meaningful. Self discovery in a place that you're in. So you're finding yourself in yourself, or you're finding yourself in the place that you're in, which is your home. You know, the nines are all related to number 18, which reduces to a nine, and that is the moon. So we're talking about in your physical body, in yourself, in your spirit, in your energy, what are you discovering through your evolution, your path, right? And your path may have changed, right? You might have to be, you might be reharmonizing with your path or adapting to the changes that occur along your path. All right, let me put the cards back in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shuffle the cards here. I don't have any Aries placements actually, but I do have a planet that is significant to Aries in my first house. The Fool, talking about letting go of your expectations, okay? Letting go of maybe like your old ways of doing things, right? Everything that you know has changed, right? Because that's Uranus. And that's talking about nervousness, perhaps, about the change or about the shift that might be occurring. It's also kind of like just taking risks and being, you know, going with the flow to think outside of the box, you know, kind of like bending, adapting, but in a different way. It's a higher octane of Mercury. So it's kind of like allowing yourself to become something different or to see something differently or to go about things differently or to change something, you know, very radical about yourself. You know, it's like a name change or like, you know, it could be anything like a sex change or anything like that. Very Uranian, right? Uranus. Because Uranus is also exalted in Scorpio, which is talking about, you know, transitions and things changing and transformations, right? Very much like a watery energy. So I'm gonna cut the cards for you. Of course, Aries, you would get Moon in Libra, and we have a full Moon in Libra coming up in a matter of days. Last year we had two full moons in Libras, and that really was just talking about how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to others and everything around us. And right now we're in Aries season, and we're realizing how we're relating to things in a new way. You know, we're starting to appreciate our jobs for what they were, right? If you were happy with your job, if you weren't happy with your job, then you're kind of like seeing this as sort of like a way to get out of something that you wouldn't have otherwise gotten yourself out of, right? Be it a project, be it a responsibility, or be it interacting with other people that you probably didn't really like interacting with. Or maybe you just needed some questions to be answered for yourself that you didn't want to answer, and this has answered them for you. Maybe there were some things that you were trying to figure out if you wanted to be a part of or if you wanted to do, and this has sort of like wiped some things off the slate for you. You know what I mean? So I've cut the deck, and here we are with Uranus the Fool at the bottom of the deck again. Uranus is talking about radical change, okay? And Uranus is also talking about a new perspective. With this card, it talks about letting go of all of the things that you may have attached yourself to that could have held you back or weighed you down. Things that may have kept you local, right? And local to a place that you may have wanted to move away from, travel away from. You know what I mean? And when I mean local, something that may have made you feel stagnant or kept like just stuck in one place, needing a change, right? And this is probably like the change that you've been welcoming, right? Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra. Why? Because the Fool is zero, and a scale, which is representative of Libran energy, would prefer to be at zero. Things would be ideal. But you know what? The ideal situation for you would be to let go of everything that you thought you wanted, or you thought you knew, or you thought you identified with. Because there are some things that are changing about you and about your reality. This also talks about being transient, being in the middle of something, not really knowing where you are. So you could be questioning where you are, what you want to do, where you're going. You know, what's next? That's what the Fool is talking about. What's next? So you could be getting a little bit nervous, or you could be getting a little anxious, or, just kind of like agitated, wanting to move, okay? Nervous too, right? Antsy. I'm getting that. Let me go ahead and lay the cards out for you, Aries. I mean, who's not antsy right now, right? I'm like, how am I laying these out? You know, it's almost like you don't know what to do with yourself, right? That's almost like the Fool energy. I don't know what to do. But then I also feel like you're kind of like in denial about some things too. Because the Fool sort of is like in denial about things. It's like, I actually don't have any limitations, and there's nothing that's sort of getting in my way, and that's great. We love that. But you also have to take a look at reality with the Fool card too. Sometimes it's kind of like letting go of stuff and changing things, and like thinking outside the box. But it's like you don't want to actually be a fool. You don't want to actually be delusional. You do want to sort of like let yourself go from the things that would otherwise make you would rule over you, like fear and things like that. Because Uranus is exalted in Scorpio, so it's kind of like not having any fears and things like that. But it's also, like not having any fear doesn't mean like you shouldn't think logically about things, right? That's just kind of like how I feel with this. So you have to be logical, right? Because Uranus is the higher octane of Mercury. Okay, so you can't just, do whatever. You're gonna have to keep some things. There has to be some sort of gravity. You know what I mean? And gravity is weight. Weight is Saturn. Saturn is what matters. What matters is being restricted so you can know where you are in space and time. And space and time is definitely very Saturn. And Saturn is in its fall in um Aries. And I don't even know why I'm bringing Saturn into it, but that's just because, Saturn also rules Aquarius like Uranus does too, So it really is just talking about bringing some gravity to the situation so that you know where you are, you know. You know what to measure, right? So there's some things that aren't happening. They're just kind of like up in the air in the balance, right? So you're trying to measure things. You're trying to see where things are sort of like falling into place here. Okay, in the center of the reading, wow, I just talked about how Saturn was debilitated in Aries, right? But Saturn is exalted in Libra. And here we go. That's your first card. Saturn being exalted in Libra. So what are you ignoring, right? That you're being shown? What is this lesson that you need to learn? What is it that you're not identifying with that you need to sort of like see for what it is. You know what I mean? Because Saturn wants you to see things for what it is, right? And this three is talking about, it's being shown to you, right? It's being projected to you in this way that you can't deny, right? And we're not talking about illusion. We're not talking about being delusional about things. It's just interesting because Saturn is exalted in Libra, but Uranus is also the esoteric ruler of Libra. So you might be dealing with a Libra right here, you know? And I'm telling you to be logical, think logical about this. Where you're going, where you see things, like just all of it, right? Uranus. Your projections on where you want to go can't be um can't can't be more than what you're able to carry. You know what I mean? It's almost, that's like with the Fool, okay? Your projection about where you're going cannot be more than you're willing or able to carry. So it's like, I want to do this. And it's like, are you capable of doing that? Not saying that like you won't be capable of doing that later, but like, is that really where you see this going right now? And it's like, yeah, taking a risk. But Saturn is like, no, you need to see where you are restricted, because Saturn, I'm sure that Saturn being in that in a three, like in a Gemini type situation, it's like, no, you need to see things for what they are and stop imagining, right, things, and stop trying to just sort of connect with things that aren't real right now. That's what it wants you to do. Connect with something that's real. And also make sense of what's being shown to you, reducing it down. The clues. What are the context clues? What is the context of the situation? You know? And this is also talking about an environment, right? That might be that you might be feeling pressure within an environment, okay? There could be like some kind of a like the connection. There's pressure to connect, right? I'm really trying to connect. I'm really trying to talk. I'm really trying to see. I'm really trying to evoke a response, right? That type of thing. And it's almost like needy. I'm trying to say something, reaching out, I'm tapping you on the shoulder, I'm trying to get your attention, and it's like you can't get this or you can't get this attention in the same way, you know? You've got to change the way you've been doing things, right? And also you don't have the freedoms that you once had, right? Because these threes are related to the third house of Gemini, which feels very free within its local environment, right? Right? But then Saturn is saying, no, you have to be restricted within that locality, right? You are restricted within that locality. And what is that teaching you, right? If you want to be unrestricted, you're going to have to adapt. You're going to have to change something. You're going to have to realize something. You're going to have to understand something, right? Because that is going to be your automobile. It's going to be your leverage into figuring it out. Oh, I have leverage because I've understood this part about it, right? Leveraging your mind. But this says that you're not thinking maturely about something that you should be, right? And it's just supported with the Fool being here. What's crossing you, Aries, is the King of Pentacles. Okay. And that's Taurus, right? That's fixed earth. So that's stability. That's something stubborn. Someone is not going to change the way they want something to be or what they want. Something ideal. That's what it is. Because this is saying like, it's like you can't go back and forth on it now, right? You can't find safety within just kind of like moving around, right? You can't move around as much. You feel like that. Tiptoeing around, right? This King of Pentacles is, Taurus, but a little bit of Aries energy. So what's hidden is the drive, right? Someone is being stubborn about something because they have this inner will. That type of thing. They feel like, I feel like this is kind of like a payback type of energy sometimes. Just like with the King of Pentacles crossing Saturn and Libra, right? I feel like this is someone that's like, well, this, I'm just gonna be like this. Because the threes are talking about behavior, but the threes are also talking about childishness, perhaps. Not by an actual child, but by someone who might be thinking in that sort of way. The Three of Swords to me is almost kind of like a bullying type energy. If it's in a lower polarity. You know what I mean? Because Saturn is exalted in Libra, but I'm thinking of it in a different way. Because you have a responsibility with Saturn in Libra to understand what's being shown to you so that you aren't just putting up with something that you don't deserve to put up with, that is restricting your freedom and also cutting back, sort of like putting the wool over your eyes and not allowing you to see what it is you need to see that would actually set you free, right? And the King of Pentacles, being Taurus, is talking about being in a place, an environment, being fixed in a space, right? Three of Swords, where, what you want to do is being, you're hiding what you want to do. So weird. Or someone is, or someone has to like not do what they want to do, and it could have something to do with sensuality and sexuality, right, and physicality, because we're thinking about Aries, 1/3 of the King of Pentacles, and then Taurus being the other 2/3. And Aries is Mars, desire, right, action. Pluto as well is deep desire, will, purpose, intention, right? It's not just like, I'm doing this, it's like, I'm doing this for a reason, okay? And so, wants to do something. But then that King of Pentacles energy, right, in the second house, okay? Taurus is the second house from you, okay? So you're challenged, and you're challenged with a job or something. You might even be feeling like there might be a relationship or a connection or a networking or something that is being stifled by all of this, not being able to travel, right? Because King of Pentacles Taurus is actually your job. That's your work. That's your money. That's your earned income. And right now in Taurus, we have Venus being there, but we also have Uranus. And Uranus is in its fall in Taurus. So Uranus talks about radical changes and things that occur that we can't necessarily control, or risks, things being put at risk, right? So, job, something's being put at risk, so you feel like you're being put at risk, like your will, your well being, because King of Pentacles, that talks about your well being, right? That Taurus energy, right? Because you want things to be ideal, you want things to be set in place, you want to feel secure, and that is, your well being is very important and rides on that. You feeling secure, right? So crazy. So, either you have Venus in Taurus, or you might even have, well, you don't have Uranus in Taurus, okay? But you might have Venus in Taurus, okay? Um, or you might have Saturn in Libra, okay? Or you might have, let's say you have Uranus in your first house. So this might resonate with you on a major level. Okay, so let's look at your past. All right, now we're really getting into it, Aries. In the past, you have the Five of Cups. So this is talking about something with the job or with the. It's got to be a relationship because Scorpio is talking about intimate relationships, and the fives are talking about relationships because of Taurus. So we are talking about like a marriage or something like that, or we're talking about something disintegrating because this is a card that talks about ruin, and it talks about disintegration and dissension and the submission to something that you had no part or you didn't want to have a part in, right? Because it's a five, so it's like, what did I create? What did I give to this? What did I put into this? What energy did I put into this? In Taurus, right, the Hierophant, number the five, is like, what's happening to me? I don't understand. What am I supposed to get from this? You know? It's like uncomfortable too. Either it's you asking what am I supposed to do with this, or someone else is asking what am I supposed to do with this, or maybe both of you are asking yourself what am I supposed to do with this, right? And also it could be with a job. If your relationship is fine, Aries, then this could be with a job or a family type situation, because we are experiencing like death and stuff like that, and sickness and toxicity and things like that. So this talks about not being able to potentially change something about someone's reality, and it's affecting you in an emotional way, you know. But it's asking you to see the purity within that situation, that circumstance, whatever it is that you're going through. And it really is time to try to see the five, try to see, being conscious of how you can begin five, fifth house sun, right? Beginning sun. That's where it starts. How you can begin to heal from it. You know? Because you're going to have to, because that's the reality with the fives. Because remember, the Hierophant is Taurus, and it's an earth sign. It rules the fives. So you're going to have to deal with that. We're all going to have to deal with, things affecting us in an emotional way that we can control or reverse, right? Five of Cups. We're gonna deal with people not understanding us and not getting where we come from, not understanding our culture, right? Not understanding our belief systems or where we come from or how we think, Five of Swords, or our culture, where we come from, where we've been nurtured and grown, Five of Pentacles, right? What we hold dear to us that makes us feel solid, Five of Pentacles, right? And then we got, what else is there? Five of Wands, okay? You're definitely not going to make me feel like I can't do what I know I can with that Five of Wands. So the fives are very much like, I have to fight through this. All of the fives, you got to fight through it, right? So you're fighting through something yourself, or you're fighting through something with your partner, or your family's fighting through something. Could be all of those, and if it's all of those, ooh, that's a lot. So before we flip over the sun and we talk about the focus, let's shuffle and pull one from the Runes Oracle deck, right? And this is what this one looks like. I wanted to get some runes, but I felt like I wanted to kind of learn the energy of the runes and the words in English of what they mean first. But these cards are really great. I like them. And I know someone who reads actual runes that has these cards. So I was like, oh, okay. Whoa. Oh my god. All right now, Aries, you better stop. I don't know what it is that you want to say or what you're trying to say, but it's like, I don't know, you're probably saying the wrong stuff. Somebody's putting their foot in their mouth, perhaps. Perhaps. And that's why Saturn is in Libra is there too. Understanding the responsibility of what to say and how to say it. Okay. King of Pentacles, Taurus rules the throat. Okay. And it also is talking about like what you're conscious of. Because it talks about being connected to the energy of God, right? Higher wisdom. Okay, let me go ahead. Oh, higher wisdom. Okay, Othila. It's talking about tradition, and it's talking about higher wisdom, right? It's talking about conservative ways of doing things, but mostly tradition. It talks about things not being able to be done the same way, right? Traditions that we hold on to, not wanting to let go of that. That the King of Pentacles came up, and also the Five of Cups. And the fives are like, traditionally, right? Usually, right? Ideally, in a sense, you know? We're talking about that. Let's look at what the Othila talks about. Nobility and tradition. Wow, it just opened right up to it. The rune is connected to wealth, but above all, to what we inherit from our ancestors. Okay? Blood ties, however problematic, so it's talking about a family situation, or intolerable, like family is still someone that you choose to be married to, right? Are still important and implicate us for all of our lives. It is essential to recognize their value and realize that we are the result of our past, and we must start from our roots to develop our heritage that is rich and plentiful. Okay? Do we respect our ancestors and their traditions? Which ties do we find difficult to abandon? And which, on the other hand, would it be wise to rediscover? Othila anchors us to our identity, reinforces blood ties, and bestows well being. Right? So we're talking about your identity, we're talking about your well being, and we're also talking about your blood ties, your people. Okay? Your family. Right? So you could be really thinking about that a lot right now just because, you're aware of it. Things are happening around the world that make you more aware of your family, make you more aware of the things that are constant in your life that you may have taken for granted, right? Because sometimes people do take tradition for granted. Hey, it's tradition. It's always going to be like that, right? Not necessarily. When something comes in and shakes it up, it's not the same. Oh my God, Five of Cups. Whoa, is me, you know. But Saturn teaches you that it's no. Time is something. Time is an illusion, but time is also something that has to be respected. Time is an idea that has to be respected because you can't deny it. It's so crazy, right? That's torturous in any way. So the timing is torturous, right? The timing of things is torturous, and also the time that you're having to wait and having to see results or having to break free of whatever you feel like is keeping you held back is torturous. Sun position, Two of Cups. So we're dealing with a relationship here, okay? The duplication of feelings, right? Sharing of feelings, right? Respect too, because we're trying to come up with ways to find a balance of how to treat each other respectfully, right? Because this is a two, but it's a Roman numeral two. So we're dealing with the number two high priestess card, right? Because that's talking about wisdom, you know. Venus is a sacred planet. So we're talking about why it is important to duplicate, to show and duplicate the same love, basically, with the Two of Cups being here because it's Venus and Cancer. right? Venus wants to love. Cancer wants to be loved, right? Oh, wow, bitch. You want to love? I want to be loved. That's a match made in heaven, right? So you could be focused on that, right? For some of you, you might be like, oh, this was a match. This is a match made in heaven. For some of you, you're like, wow, I thought that this was everything that I needed. You were the one, right? Are we working on things, And for some of you guys who aren't experiencing, a marriage problem or a relationship problem, this could just be kind of like, now I can give back to you and show you what I needed to show you anyway, right? Before, okay? The twos are also talking about being very transient, going from one reality into the next. It talks about balance. It talks about sharing. It talks about understanding. It talks about relating. It talks about folding and splitting, right? But it also is very sensitive because I am going to be affected by you because it's not just me. I am going to be affected by you in the space, you know, in this space because the second house is talking about, you know, the space that we share together that we choose to be in, you know, whether that's like a home in a physical building or in just what like our understanding of the space that we create together, right? So you feel sensitive or vulnerable within a space. Okay. In the moon position, Knight of Cups, Pisces energy. So there's that type of thing that's sort of like affecting you. There's a lot of Pisces energy here with the Two of Cups being there and then the Knight of Cups, right? So you're emotionally affected by something. You're trying to wear your heart on your sleeve. You're trying to show the love. You're trying to show the compassion, right? But then underneath the surface of it all, you're kind of like, I know better, right? Or I know like what I do know better. Like I know better, like for me, I know better, or like I know better for you or than you. Like I know better for me or I know better than you. That type of thing under the surface. But really what's coming outwardly is like I know that I have a responsibility to show love and compassion just because I feel like it's needed right now. And I feel like it's probably the only way right now with the Knight of Cups, right? And then what's hidden there also is like the universal feeling of being able to consider others, and that's the thing. That's what you really have, or that's what you have working for you, or that's what the crosswatcher, the other person, is hoping they have working for them, right? Consideration and the compassion, right? It's like, okay, I know I need to show this compassion right now. I can let go. I can let go of, the thoughts that I can let go of the perspective that I want to be victimized by what we have experienced, right? I can let go of that in this moment because I know that I need to show love and compassion where it's needed, right? Because the Knights are talking about bringing things to where they're needed, really, right? Or showing up where they're needed. I feel like the Knights show up where they're needed. Okay, and this is the Knight of Cups in the moon position, right? But you need to show compassion to yourself too, right? But also other people. And it's like you got to catch yourself in those moments when you're being triggered emotionally, right? When you kind of want to be mad or you want to be upset, but then you have to realize that that's actually you being upset with yourself, right? It's very Pluto, and that's why Pluto is significant to Aries. I say it's a co-ruler, right? Let's look at your anxieties. All right. Anxieties are the Eight of Pentacles, which talks about, I don't know why I'm getting some kind of abrasiveness or something. Anyway, with the Eight of Pentacles, this is talking about, the power of the mind to do what it feels like it needs to do. It's a responsibility to do, to work, right? You feel you have it's almost like you're, what's on your mind, right? Because the anxieties are kind of like what's on your mind, right? If there was a Mercury position in this spread, it would be right there, right? um, but the Eight of Pentacles is talking about keeping yourself busy, to deal with your anxiety, okay? There's so many things that you can probably get done in this moment that will make you feel empowered and will make you redirect your focus towards something positive and not towards what you feel like is ailing you, because this is Virgo, or what is making you feel like unhealthy, right? Focus on doing things that are going to make you feel like you're actually dotting dotting I's and crossing T's. It's like that feeling of finally finishing that last chapter in a book. Oh, now I can really like now I don't have to have it in the back of my mind that I haven't finished that book. That type of thing. So stay productive, stay proactive, because the eights are also proactive. They should be. The eights do get caught up in like what it is that they can't make happen extra, or what it is that they can't also do, right? Because the eight wants to be in control and Virgo wants to be all the things. I want to be in control of all the things. And this is saying you have anxiety over like not being able to be in control of all things. But Aries, you always have that issue, right? And this talks about working on the intimacy in a relationship, because it's Virgo and it talks about analysis and it talks about, proof. But then it's an eight, so it's talking about intimate relationships being the eighth house. So you're worried about something that is affecting an intimate relationship that deals with processing something. Could be paperwork. Ooh, could be, money. Obviously, it's Pentacle, right? Anything that you've invested in, anything that affects your finances, anything that would affect, your day to day, right? The patterns, the rhythm, the timing. You're also kind of like keeping yourself busy so that you don't have to face something, right? Out of fear of something. It's weird. Like you're keeping yourself busy out of fear of what? Like you can't run from something. You can't keep busy to run from something. But you can keep busy to kind of like run from boredom. That's for sure, right? Um, King of Cups in the Mars position, which is where it wants to be, right? Scorpio, a little bit of Libra. So you're probably dealing with Scorpio Libra energy. You're dealing with the depths of the relationship, the depths of which relationships can take you, right? Oh my gosh. But also, we're dealing with Uranus a lot with this card specifically, because Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra, but Uranus is also exalted in Scorpio. And this card is two-thirds Scorpio and one-third Libra. So what is it that we need to let go of, Mars, right? Aries, sorry. Emotionally, it's kind of like you need to use the power of your will. You need to use the maturity of your your will, right? The power of your maturity, right? Of thinking from a place of of a rational mind, coming from a place of a rational mind, allowing yourself to rise above, you know, it's been kind of hard to. I feel like you're drowning in something right now. You're like drowning in your thoughts, right? And it's affecting you emotionally. It's creating an emotional blockage, and you're really having to stay strong emotionally too. At the same time, right? Because we can't say that you're not going through all of those things inside because you're so strong, right? No, you are going through all of those things inside, and you are strong because that's what's happening. You know, keeping your head above the water, right? Determined to push through, determined to get to the other side of this, because that's what we're dealing with the King of Cups, because it's Pluto as well, and Pluto has a very strong hold on what's going on right now. Aries, Pluto is in your 10th house. Wait, no. Yes. Aries rising specifically. Pluto is in your 10th house, right? For some of you, it might be your ninth. Um, but Jupiter is also there too with Pluto, right? Changes that are occurring. But this is good for you. You may not feel like it is because Pluto is coming in and it's like destructing things. It's disintegrating things. It's, what it does is it's Pluto is like a black hole. It just, you know what I mean? It almost feels like it sucks the life out of you, but like then, the life is breathed back into you at some point, right? But Pluto conjunct Jupiter, changes that are occurring for you. You're having to adapt to these powerful transformations, these moments of realizing that there's nothing that you can do to change what is actually happening around you and to you, right? But like I've been saying, like I said to Cancer as well, change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? Because you have to see things for what they are, but then you have to see them for what they are providing for you as well, right? What are you seeing? What are you understanding? How are you transforming from what's going on? Venus position, Four of Swords, Jupiter in Libra. I'm sorry. Um, just thinking for yourself, right? And not trying to make things better for others who aren't willing to make things better for themselves. Also, in the Venus position, being that this is Jupiter in Libra, it's kind of like more of, right? You don't want more of the same thing because it's a force or it's foundation, right? Jupiter in Libra, more of the same thing, right? You're trying to you're just relating to more of the same thing. You've got to relate to something different. And the fact, the fours are all related to the emperor, and the emperor rules the kings. The king of swords is here, significant in energy reflected through the four of swords. So it's like not relating to more of the same. That's what we're getting you to see, that you can't continue to relate to more of the same. That's why you have the Fool at the bottom of the deck. And we need you to realize that, right? Stop trying to reach back to things being the way that they were before, like the quarantine happened, or before like this Three of Swords thing happened, right? Ah, my gosh. And then this Five of Cups thing. Oh my gosh, that's another one, right? Back to back there. With the Taurus King of Pentacles over the Three of Swords. Conflict, right? We got a four here in the Venus position, but then you have the King of Pentacles and you have the King of Cups. That's opposition, and then you have the Two of Cups here in the Sun position, bringing focus to the two opposing energies, the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. Okay, desire, need, right? Mm-hmm. Stubbornness, fixed in my reasons, right? Two people, okay? Although someone has tried this, someone tried to be, someone was trying to be flexible, right? In their emotions. But like, and that they tried. Like the King of Cups, I feel like tried to be flexible. This person, right? Before tried to show the compassion and tried to be flexible in their emotions, right? I'm gonna be flexible here. But then the King of Cups became fixed because it's been relating to more of the same thing. And now it's saying, no, don't relate to more of the same thing. Okay? You've got to make a critical analysis of self and how you have been affected by all of it. Right? How has your reality changed? And how has your reality stayed the same? What has changed? What stayed the same? What would you like to keep and what would you like to leave? Weigh those out. So, oh, yeah, here we go. Let's look at your Romance Angels Oracle for some of you. If you're happily married and it's like, well, you know what? I'm just going to shuffle it and pull the card out. You deserve love. You are lovable. That's for those of you out there that are feeling this Three of Swords energy and this Five of Cups energy, right? And the Two of Cups is really talking about that. And the Moon searches, right? The Moon searches, and the Knight of Cups is there, so it's searching for love. But you're sensitive, They're really not gonna be searching for love right now, because we got months of like just trying to figure out how we're gonna heal from everything that's going on. Um, but then it's like, what comes after this? What comes next? Oh, this one says this could be the one. You've already met the partner you seek. Okay. So these are two different messages because they both flipped over. But then they also bleed into the next. This could be one message for someone, You deserve love, you're lovable, you've already met the romantic partner you seek, So if those of you out there are like working on staying optimistic about your love life, that's for you. If you're not working on staying optimistic about a relationship or something, if you're like, no, honey, that ship has sailed, then yeah, I'm not gonna take those. That's like four. Let me continue looking at the future cards. Five of Swords. This is saying that you guys are never, you're not gonna be able to come to an agreement on something, you know, there's something that won't be. I'm not saying for some of you that like, oh, the disagreement is like we shouldn't be together. But if you're already not together, then you're not together. But if you are together, then you're not going to be able to agree on something. But this does talk about differences, right? And not being able to look past those differences, you know, right? And you're both, it's like nobody wins, right? Because the person that wants more of the same thing, the person that's giving more of the same thing or doing more of the same thing, and the person that doesn't want any of that, it's like, wow, there we go. There's a conflict. There's a two, bam, here we go. And it's still related to this, that Five of Cups, because I was thinking about that too, right? Five and five. The past here and the outcome moving forward, you know. But you're going to detach from whatever it was that you felt like was kind of like had its grip on you, right? Because it had its grip on you here with this Five of Cups. But now you're sort of like, oh, I have to like figure something out. I have to identify with this in a way that's going to make me feel like I'm coming out of it on the other side, or like I'm not winning or losing, it's a draw, right? Settling. The Hermit in the future, you know, this is wisdom, this is evolution, this is saying I learned, honey. I learned, right? With the Hermit, I'm founded on different principles now because I did have this experience that taught me something, and I had to go inward to a place that I've never had to go before, and I discovered something. It took a while to get through, right? That's why I'm old now, right? That's why I'm old. That's why I'm gray, cause it took me a long, but I had to find an inner light, and it took a lot of searching to find that inner light. And you may have felt like you were walking through the dark, searching through the dark to find that light, right? You know what I mean? Have you ever like searched through the dark for something? It almost feels like, endless darkness. Endless darkness. That's what I'm saying. But that light, it's found. And you know where the light is? Hi. The light is the sun, and it's in Aries right now. So the light is within. Okay? That's where you find those answers. Deeper meaning, thought provoking, spirit invoking, goal oriented. There's a purpose, there's a goal that is set when you are going inward to find this light. And on that note, let's pull Keepers of the Light card by Kyle Gray. I'm doing a 2020 special, you guys and gals. Thank you for an awesome reading. Thank you. So it's 20 minutes for $20. Email providencetarotkendrick@gmail.com. I'm doing this special, just to kind of like put something out there that shows you guys that I understand that you might need someone's messages or some guidance right now. And, 20 minutes is usually $40. So it's kind of like a 50% discount, right? $20.20. Wow, did we ever know? That is too much. But I'm going to take the ones that flipped over. Okay, you got two of these. Okay, here we go. Love and Peace, Mother Mary. Interesting. Beautiful. Let go of the need to be right. Choose peace. Mother healing is possible at all times. You definitely have a need to be right, right? I mean, what are we fighting for? Also, you got Sanat Kumara, light activation. Wow, and we were just talking about finding the inner light, right? Those two cards flipped over on their own. I was like, I'm gonna put them back, but then I was like, no, just take the ones that flipped over and showed you. And we were literally talking about light, inner light. Shine your light. Your internal guidance is coming through loud and clear. So whatever you're learning from searching for that inner light within, right? The inner light. You know, and the inner light is the truth, right? Because you're searching for the truth about why you feel the way that you feel. And why maybe other people feel the way that they feel. Why something is the way that it is. Why do I have to go through this? Experiencing grace. Share your gifts with grace. Waves of inspiration and love are coming to you. Experience, right? We just talked about that with that 9, that hermit. Definitely talking about experience and wisdom. You know, you had to learn more. What did you think was going to happen when you started something new that you never did before? You better believe that when you start something new, you're going to go through those moments of like, man, I'm really going through an experience within this now, and I'm kind of getting wiser within it. Nothing is usually just going to be a piece of cake throughout in the entire way, unless it's like an actual piece of cake, or a movie, or an ice cream cone, or something. Yeah, that's great. But, you know, when something is more meaningful and it's a longer experience and it's a more enriched experience and it really has some gravity and weight to it and evolution, you know, for something to evolve, it has to go through many different stages. So it's not a quick happening, you know? So you can't rush some things sometimes. You just kind of gotta let them. And the Hermit is Virgo, and Virgo esoterically is ruled by the moon. So it's talking about healing, you know, going inward to heal, right? It's healing yourself, being your own healer, right? Chiron is significant here. Chiron is the wounded healer. Let's see where Chiron is in your chart, Aries, especially if you're an Aries rising. Chiron is in Aries right now. Work with the sun and Eris, okay? And I believe that Eris is also, um, it's kind of, it's larger than Pluto. It's like a second Pluto, right? But Pluto is a little bit smaller, but it's more dense, so it weighs a little bit more. But Eris is bigger in size, and it's a little bit further out than Pluto. Okay, I did a little bit of my research, and hopefully I'm right about that. It's not Karen. Karen is one of Pluto's moons. And so Eris, Chiron, the wounded healer, and the sun, which is exalted in Aries, those are all talking about some form of like healing. Definitely Chiron and Eris. Okay, so you're healing from something. You're healing from the self, right? And it's something that you identified with, that you aligned yourself with, that you created, that you're healing from. Okay? And there's something to be said about, you know, being shown ourselves. I have Pluto in my first house, so I know about it. Okay, so let's look at your card at the top of the deck, or the spread. Ooh, wow. Right. Detoxifying from a relationship, or a relationship is detoxifying itself. You know? There's a detoxification going on here, and there's a need to relate to a cleansing process, you know. Um this is escapism as well. There's some drinking here, drugs, perhaps. Probably mainly drinking, because you know, with COVID going on, people are probably not doing very many hard drugs, maybe. But then it's like, also, who's having sex right now too, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, for me, I feel like it's more drinking and kind of like going over things in your mind and asking questions like why, Or it could also just be escaping in some kind of way, right? Because you could just be escaping in your mind, and it's and you're and what you're drinking, right, are the emotions that get stirred up by the thought process that you're taking yourself through. You're guiding yourself through, because the sevens are ruled by the chariot, and so are the knights. So you got this seven here, and you got the knight of cups right there next to each other, next to the two of cups. So we're dealing with very Neptunian, very like moving for wanting to escape, wanting to get out of it's like you want to get away but you can't. In some kind of way. You just want this freedom, or you want this space so that you can be like, oh, I feel better because I have like my distance now. It's just trying to create, healthy boundaries too. Because I feel like the sevens do talk about healthy boundaries, the twos talk about healthy boundaries as well. Okay. So we're trying to create that, but we're also healing. A relationship is healing, right? You're detoxifying from the way a relationship has probably affected you, or a relationship has been affected by something, you know? This is a this is a need to like relate, but there's work that needs to be done before you can start to see things differently. You've got to make sense of the situation that you find yourself in right now before you know where you're actually going or where it's going, before you can see through to the other side of it, right? There's some kinks that still have to work themselves out. That's it. I love you, Aries. I'm a Libra. We have a Libra full moon coming up on the 7th and the 8th. They give it about 2 days. So think about that, and it's a super moon, so it's going to be the closest that it's been. But also the last full moon that we had in Libra, we had two, right? Hmm. How are we relating to everything, everyone, everywhere, every animal, everything? Okay, stay optimistic, guys. See you later. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Providence Tarot there, as well as NYC Kendrick. I will leave the donation information in the description box of this video and of the Cancer video. So if you'd like to donate to the channel, you'll have that information to do so. But also, if you would like to get a reading, 20 minutes for $20, providencetarotkendrick at gmail.com. What else am I forgetting anything else? The weeklies are up on YouTube and on Instagram. I didn't link them all together because I'm doing them a little bit longer, so I just make them individual because I guess it's easier and probably more enjoyable to just kind of like watch your own sign and also have it be a little bit longer, maybe. Um, Still reading from Shanti on Sundays from 12 to 6, but you would have to book those readings through like DMing Shanti on Instagram, or just check the Shanti NYC Instagram to keep yourself updated on how we are going to book the readings. You can probably book from the website specifically. So you would go to that website and book from there, okay? On Sundays from 12 to 6 with me. Or you can, watch here, book with me here, and I will talk to you guys soon.